Welcome to the Invisible Marketer Podcast. I'm your host, Kalina, and in this episode, I sit down with a good friend of mine and fellow introvert, Yaron. From the moment I've met him, I have truly been amazed at the techniques that he uses to maintain a healthy and pain-free lifestyle. In this episode, he shares his unique insight into simple exercises and movements that can help our body heal naturally. If you would like to access today's show notes, head on over to invisiblemarketer.com/heal. Let's dive on in. I'd love for you to tell my audience, what is it that you do?
I help people heal into freedom. Basically, I help them take them out of pain and discover an ancient method of health. And it's a sport, it's an exercise that actually gives you the life force that you need to live with vitality, agility, and serenity. I discovered it about 22 years ago when I was in chronic back pain that I couldn't get out. Once I discovered it, the pain disappeared within a couple of weeks. And since then, I just fell in love with it and started learning and mastering it. And over the last 5 years, I started helping other people, discovered more and more how much I love to teach and how much it's really helpful because it's not only gets you out of pain, it's a plan for longevity. That's what its main purpose is for. Is to live a long life and feel as young as you can. I'm getting old. I was born in 1964, which will make me about 60 years old in a few months, in about 3 months. But I feel much younger than my age and I can do the splits. I'm very agile and I'm strong. I can do a push-up on 2 fingers. Even though I don't go to the gym, it's just internal strength from these exercises that don't take a long time, which is the beauty of it. So that's what I really like.
I know that the healthier we get, it seems like we feel better. And my mom is that age. That's amazing that you've been able to achieve that and to be that healthy.
It's making a decision on how you want to live your life. We've got one life to live in this cycle. And we can make a decision how we treat our body. There's a saying, our bodies are a temple. So it's not only exercise, it's also nutrition. A few years ago, I also tried changing my diet completely. And I saw the amazing improvement that it had on me, both in terms of focus, in terms of energy level. And I stayed with it. I became a pescatarian and I eat mostly fruits, vegetables, and nuts and seeds and fish. And I do exercise. A lot of people just wait for the weekend and they exercise. I discovered that it just takes less than 13 minutes a day to do a set of exercises. One's great for loosening your body and relaxing it. Another one's great for building internal strength. Another one is great for agility. So there's all these different sets of exercises that take less than a quarter hour, less than 15 minutes that you can just do in the office. I was always worked in corporate world and worked in companies, medical devices and other words. When I worked in an office a few years ago at 11 o'clock after coming into the office for a couple of hours, I would take a break and I would go outside and do a short routine that takes 7 minutes. At the same time, another guy called Alex would go outside and he would take his coffee and he would take his cigarette and he would smoke and drink his coffee. And I was on the side next to the tree doing my exercises. We both came back to the office, but I was completely loose and relaxed and he was full of caffeine and nicotine. That's the difference of how you can utilize your time.
Yeah. And if you do caffeine and nicotine, you don't feel that great.
You don't feel that great.
You don't, for sure. As someone that has struggled with both of those habits, I am not doing my body any good.
Completely addicting. I quit coffee for a while and it took me a whole week where I felt completely tired and sleepy. I slept most of the day. I was up for an hour and then I slept for 2 hours. It was amazing the withdrawal that I had from caffeine.
In less than 3 months, I lost 35 pounds. And just by cutting out soda, I didn't really drink coffee at that time, but just soda.
Soda would do that. Yeah, I took that out of my life a long time ago, realizing how much sugar is in one can to me.
What inspired you to do what you do?
I wanted to be a doctor in the beginning. And I went to study, I was pre-med at UC Berkeley and I studied biology. I grew up in San Francisco, but I came back to Israel for a visit and decided to stay here and enlisted in the army. So I was in the army for 4.5 years. I was an Israeli Navy SEAL. And afterwards, I was a diving instructor in the Red Sea, which was amazing. So when I went back to California, I went to the university. I was much older than the 18-year-olds there. I was already 24. I wanted to interview doctors before making that big leap into medical school. And every single doctor I talked to said, don't do it. We thought we would be doctors, but we're being controlled by insurance companies. We only have 5 minutes to see each patient, and all we do is write drugs. We're not really healing anybody. 9 out of 10 doctors told me that. I said, maybe that's not the way I really want to go. Decided to go into research, and I went and studied in AIDS, worked in HIV AIDS laboratory to see if I should continue. I studied molecular biology, so I wanted to see if I should continue to get a PhD in genetics and go into research. But discovered I didn't have the passion for it. I had more fun talking to the salespeople who were coming in. So that's what I did. I went and started working in sales in the genetics industry and life sciences. So it wasn't really until just a few years ago that I healed someone out of years of pain. She was in 22 years of pain from scoliosis, and she constant pain. And she told me, doctors told me I can't do anything. I have to learn to live with the pain. And I showed her one stretch that I do. And she tried it. And a week later, I met her and I said, how's it going? She said, Yaron, it's a miracle. And that sparked everything. When I was in back pain for over 2 years and I got out of it so fast, I was so upset at modern medicine for not having a cure and sending me on this voyage of torture from all these scans and the MRI and the nerve tests that they have, and going to physiotherapist's office and putting him on stretch table where they pulled my body apart. It was just torture for 2 years without really a cure. And there's this ancient system that's been around for 3,000 years that nobody's talking about. And that's sparked me, took me on a voyage, really researching it and looking at. So I followed all the studies that doctors were doing on fusion surgeries. And I was horrified at what I learned, because everything that you're trying in Western medicine is not working. They keep on offering fusion surgery, even though it fails, ruining people's backs because they're fusing their backs instead of just letting them heal naturally. Our body has amazing properties of healing. We just have to show it the way.
Yeah.
Which is why I call it the miracle stretch, and I show it every day. I live in Israel and I go live here at 12 o'clock at noon every day for 13 minutes. You do one exercise and I do the miracle stretch because and I'm starting to do it on live at sunset here too. My English Facebook. Body constricts all the time. And to keep it agile, we just have to do a stretch that takes 3 minutes. And it's pretty amazing.
Of course, I have struggled with back pain since 2006 when I was in a car accident. And it's really like limited mobility and everything. I can't go to the grocery store and shop for 2 hours without leaving the grocery store in tears. Like I hold it back until I get out. By the time I'm at the car, I'm in so much pain. I am just tearing up and it's bad. It's really bad. And all they do for me is I tried physical therapy, but that shock therapy seemed to make it worse. I don't know why it did, but
if you've got inflammation, heat just exacerbates it, just makes it worse.
It would just hurt so bad. And I couldn't even finish the activities that they would make me do because by the time that they put those things on my neck, I would be in so much pain. So I couldn't even finish physical therapy. There's just so many medical problems that I have, but I just really been following you and enjoying being able to follow along with you. And I just need to start implementing that.
Doesn't take a long time. It's really simple. There's just a few different things you need to do and you feel so much better. So in the beginning, I learned everything, and there's so many different exercises that if you want to do the whole routine, it could take an hour, it can take 2 hours. But what I found over time is that there's just a few short routines that you need to do to keep yourself active, and because we're so busy during the day that we don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
But if you're working in the right way, if you do the Pomodoro method, have you heard of that?
I don't think so.
Really? That's a great method that was invented by this medical student in Italy. And he used a timer that was a tomato. He discovered that you lose focus after about 30 minutes or 20 minutes. You start to lose focus. And for those people who have ADHD and short attention span like I do, you can't sit on one thing for too long. You lose focus and it's just a waste of time. So we developed the system where you work for 25 minutes on one specific task. You turn everything off. No phone, no WhatsApp, only one single task that you do. And then you take a 5-minute break. And you do 4 of those. And at the end of 4, which is 2 hours, you take a 15-minute break. And then you do it again. So you have your list of things to do in the day. And you do go 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're much more productive that way. Because if you're multitasking, which just doesn't work,
Yeah.
If you just focus on one thing, you finish it and then do the next,
I love
which
it.
also makes you get up from the chair. Because the reason we have back pain, aside from traumas from accidents, is from sitting all day long.
Yeah.
That's the one major cause of back pain.
For sure. In my job, you get 2 15-minute breaks and an hour lunch. That's not
Exactly.
a lot. I just stand up and stretch like once at least an hour.
You do. No, you have to get up every 30 minutes at least. Sitting is really dangerous. I mean, it's so dangerous. It was called the new smoking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, back about 15 years ago by one doctor in Mayo Clinic. He said most of the diseases in the US because of sitting. When we sit, the circulation stops in the body.
Yeah.
And he said, diabetes, obesity, he claimed most of the diseases was because of that, because we're sedentary creatures. We sit all day. So we have to get up at least every half hour. And the Pomodoro method makes you do that, makes you more productive and forces you to get up from the chair every 25 minutes.
I will definitely be implementing that. Thursdays and Fridays is business days. Sunday through Wednesday is work days. Like I work 10-hour shifts. I don't have any time. I usually get up around 4 in the morning and kind of just wake up and do a little bit of business task like that I need to do. But most of my business stuff is on Thursday and Friday. I feel like I'm being pulled in 5,000 different directions.
Exactly.
So I really feel like that will help me a lot.
Yeah. And the second thing that causes, chronic pain for us is stress.
Yeah.
So that's another thing we've got to deal with. And based on research that they've done, and there's a great TED talk that talks about chronic stress and how it affects our biochemistry and increases the cortisol level, which actually shrinks our brain a little bit. And they say that two things take care of it. It's exercise and meditation. So the exercises that I do are called movement meditation. So it actually combines meditation and exercise at the same time. But just meditating for just a few minutes at the office for 5 minutes is amazing for your energy levels and for your focus. It just awakens you again. And there's really, all it takes is a few minutes. There's short 5-minute meditations. There's one meditation that I do that's called the small universe, which is amazing. It takes only 6 minutes. And it moves the chi around the body. The chi is what the Chinese call life energy. Short meditation really awakens you and reduces stress at the same time, which is what we all need.
For those meditations, is it certain movements that you do? And then how do you do them exactly?
You can do meditation just sitting down. If you just go on YouTube and you do 5-minute meditation, you'll get a variety of different meditations, and much easier in the beginning just to do a guided meditation. But if you do a series of movements, because you're focusing on the breath and the movement together, once you learn them, you just go into the movement and the body and your focus is all there. So you're focusing on the move and your breaths together. So it's very meditative. So you're combining actually movement with meditation together, which is why it's called movement meditation. But it also has another factor, which is part of Chinese medicine, which is moving the qi, the life force around your body. What I do is exercises that are a part of Chinese movement medicine.
Yeah.
And Chinese medicine thinks completely different than Western medicine. It's 3,000 years old, hasn't changed much. And it believes that all disease and pain starts because of energetic blockages in the body. And in order to get rid of disease and pain, we have to just open up those blockages. And you do that by doing energy routines, which are these exercises. The idea is that, we've got a certain life force, this chi that we're born with, and we die with zero. We use it during our lifetime, and we just circulate it in our body along these lines called meridians.
Wow. If I'm able to one day maybe get rid of all the pain that I'm in, that would be huge. Like it would be such a blessing for me.
But it starts with a mindset. It's not if, it's when I get rid of the pain, because our body is amazing. It heals itself. You start with the mind. When I'm able to get rid of the pain, and you do that by just following this path and starting, shifting the mindset and moving the body and calming the mind. And changing your nutrition a little bit, finding out different things. Words determine our future, our actions. And the amazing thing about what the Chinese say is also emotions create these energetic blockages. So if you have a hard emotion from a trauma, that can create an energetic blockage, which translates into pain later. So you have to open up everything and calm the mind, find serenity, move the energy in the body, which gets you back into shape, makes you feel better, and keeps you younger. What I wanted to say was this whole system actually Its sole goal, its slogan is live a long life and be young forever. So there's this one guy who practiced it and it was a herbalist and he died in 1933 at the age of 256. Exactly. That's what I said. So I looked up on Wikipedia, but he's got certificates. He's got certificates from the Chinese emperors when he reached 150 years old and he reached 200 years old. And there was a British professor who went to research him and research the whole thing. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the more you research it and the more you go in down this rabbit hole, there's a thing called prana. Have you heard of it? Prana is what the yogis consider also the cheese, where you want to get to a higher level. But there's also this prana thing where people don't eat so much. You know, you can fast for like 4 days with no water and no food.
Yeah.
Which according to science, you're not able to. You should die within 2 days without water.
Right.
You know, people can survive much longer. You need to prepare yourself for that. But fasting for a day, 2 or 3 is really healthy. It's great for your brain because you're creating new brain cells. It's one way of generating new cells in your brain. I live in Israel, so there's a big Arab population here. And right now, Ramadan started for the Muslims, and they fast from sunrise to sunset. So they fast all day for 40 days, which is really hard.
I don't see how they're able to do that.
Really hard, you know, but in all regions, you find fast.
Yeah.
There's always been fasting. Moses fasted for 40 years. Noah fasted for 40 days before the flood came. Jesus Christ also fasted for a while.
Yeah. Jesus did too as well.
Yeah. So they all fasted. Fasting is very healthy for us. Since we've been cavemen, we didn't eat all day long. You know, we were nomads. We moved from one place to another. And during these movements, we didn't eat all the time. I mean, we hunted, we caught an animal, we ate it, and then food ran out. And then we had to go somewhere else until we found a fruit tree or some roots or food source. But the way we live right now is just so much abundance.
Yes. And vast.
But it's all around us all the time. We eat nonstop.
Too many choices.
Too many choices all the time. Yeah. And it's all packaged too.
And it's convenient to get it delivered to you and not have to cook because you have limited time during the day. If you're working, you have a business, you have family. Like sometimes after a 10-hour shift, you don't really feel like cooking.
No, you grab what you can. There's no time. Exactly.
Yeah. So, and the convenience, it comes at a price. Your health.
That's right. Yeah.
Are you enjoying today's episode and feeling inspired by the stories and the strategies that you are hearing? I would like to personally invite you to be a part of a community that is filled with people from all walks of life. Inside of there, you will discover a welcoming space filled with fellow introverts and entrepreneurs who share their knowledge, exchange ideas, and support each other's growth. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or you're new to this journey, our community is here to empower you every step of the way. You can gain access to exclusive training, insightful discussions, and valuable networking opportunities by joining our community today. Let's collaborate, learn, and grow together. Head on over to community.invisiblemarketer.com and become part of our amazing family. As an introvert, myself, I just wondered, was there ever a time where you've struggled with being maybe scared to go out there and share what you have, or being afraid to be on camera, or, being able to go share your message?
I can say I'm totally an introvert. I moved to San Francisco when I was 12. So I was an immigrant child in San Francisco. So I wasn't one of the kids there that grew up in the fog in San Francisco. So being an immigrant child in the States, and then I came back to Israel, and I was an American in Israel after I came here. So I was never one of the crowd here. So I've always been kind of an outsider. Wasn't very self-confident at all. I remember my first time that I started to do a clip, and I took a video, and I took like 10 times the same shot. And then I went to Masada here, and I did one shot after another, and I took a few shots. And every time I would stop in the middle, and I said, oh, I'll edit it afterwards. And I went back home and I tried editing, and it just didn't work at all. I couldn't put it together because it was too messed up. And it took a while to just do a shoot after shoot after shoot until you get more and more comfortable in front of the camera. And I remember the first live I did, oh my God, that was horrendous. And I was just sweating. But now I go on live every day. And actually, that's my work too. I have a group that I teach online. So I'm live I feel alive when I'm live. I love to be online. You get much more because when you do a video shoot of yourself, because you can edit it afterwards, you're much more relaxed. You're not as relaxed as when you are live. When you're on live,
Pressure's on.
you're there, you're focused, you're driven, adrenaline flows. When you're just shooting yourself, you can cut it later and edit. So you're not as focused as you are when you are live. It's a big difference. It's like sitting and standing. There's a big difference to it.
I've noticed that when I'm just recording a video, I'll make a million mistakes. I recorded a workshop last week. I barely stumbled. I mean, I know I'm going to stumble because I stutter when I get nervous or, lose my train of thought. I did so much better knowing that there were people out there that were going to see that and that they were counting on me to deliver something great, right?
Absolutely. The difference.
Yeah, even though I prefer the video so I can make it perfect or whatever, but I mean, it takes so much time. It just takes way too much time for me to record a video. If I'm live, I just do it. I feel the pressure and I can get it done and I perform better because I know there's people out there counting on me. That workshop is going to be part of my course. So I recorded it live and now I can put it in my course.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, it saves a ton of time.
Yes, definitely.
There's a difference in energy also if you sit down and you stand up, I noticed. I just moved here a couple of months ago and the house before, I had a counter, which was a standing desk, and I worked standing up. And every time I would talk on Zoom, I would be standing and you can feel the difference in the energy because you can move around. That's why lecturers always stand up. They don't sit because you move on stage. You're much more alive. You can move your whole body. So I'm thinking of getting a standing desk once again so I don't sit down.
I have a desk that actually stands up. I just don't have a chair. And since I can't stand up for very long without being in pain, I do use it sometimes to stand up for a couple of minutes and then just push it back down. Since you started, truly is there a specific challenge that you face or an obstacle that you've had to overcome? Something that stands out to you in your life that was just really challenging?
I've worked in sales my whole life, and it was really challenging for me to sell in the beginning myself, to sell to people, my program and myself. And I have to say that there's a huge difference between selling a product that you work for a company and selling something that you do. And overcoming objections and overcoming everything. So you need to learn from someone who's done it and use a script because that's going to overcome the barrier and that's going to overcome the path and make it shorter because, we need to make a living from this. So we need to sell, get the leads, but if they come in and you're not selling them, you're not closing, basically, you're not going to make it at all. So learning how to use the right script and use the right method to close, especially if you're doing high ticket. That was a challenge for me in the beginning, but finally I found someone who used a script and it completely made a huge difference for me.
Yeah, I'm still not to that point where I'm comfortable, right? So I'm working on that process.
One book recommendation, Grant Cardone's survival book. He's got a survival of how to oppose objections. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I listen to it over and over and over in the car just to deal with every objection that comes through.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely check that out because Grant Cardone, he's really good. And I even bought a coaching program from him. That was where I was able to get kind of into Doug's training. I was following Doug, but Doug did that irresistible offer if you signed up for Grant's thing, and I signed up for it. I had 5 different people that were offering these bonuses. I mean, they were just throwing in all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm picking Doug. And I didn't know him that well. This was before, this was way before that. When I went through the courses that he did in there, it was unbelievable business coaching at Grant's program. He tells you in there kind of how to handle objections and how to make your offers and stuff. I love that because that is a big hurdle that I see a lot of people face. Like, we don't want to be salesy, but here is the thing that I've learned is that the people need what you have to offer, what you are helping people with, and the feeling that they're going to feel once they go through and they make it a habit of doing those steps that you're teaching and everything. And you show them how to do that, to be able to be pain-free. Like, that is priceless.
No, it's amazing. It changes people's lives. They tell me it not only changes their life, but it changes the family because the energy is completely different in the house.
Yeah. For me, a lot of times I didn't want to go out and do things. I would be no fun if I'm sitting sitting there crying, hurting in the car for half the trip. So it really held me back a lot from doing things with my kids. I mean, they get to do all kinds of stuff. I could take pictures, make, videos, but I couldn't actually participate in those activities.
Yeah, when you're in pain, you don't want to do anything. You don't want to initiate anything. You don't want to go out. Just stay at home, not do anything.
It can definitely lead to depression. The outcome far exceeds what the price would be if you're in that situation.
For sure. Yeah, it's a life changer, which is why it's important. My life calling right now. For sure.
You're so good at the way you teach it and in your videos and stuff that I have seen. It's just great. I feel you're so passionate about it and I know how much you care. It's not just you're trying to teach them steps. You actually care. And I feel that from you as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that.
Let's talk about how do you handle failure or a setback when it comes to your business?
Oh, yeah. And they come all the time. You try new things and you try different things, and sometimes things don't work, and what you thought was a great idea doesn't work. And you have to remember that there's going to be downfalls in the ascension. And one thing I realize is that when you have that setback, you have to remember what you're in there for, what the cause is, and what your goal is. And especially remember what's going to happen if you don't succeed. One of the things I hated about being a job is having a stupid boss telling me what to do when I knew he was completely wrong and had to follow his orders just because he was the boss. Always been a free spirit, so I always want to do my own way. I'm good at it and I can do it. But if you get a setback, you have to remember why you're there and what your goal is. Remember the gift that you're giving people. That's why you started. Remember your desire, your passion, and the gift that you're giving. And don't do anything. When you're in that down period, take a break, work on yourself so you can get up again and feel energetic. Because if you're putting up posts when you're not energetic, if you're doing videos when you're not energetic, it's not going to work. You're not going to shine as you do when you're optimist and you're energetic. You're not going to bring people to you when you're in a down state. So take a break, work on yourself, go to nature, think, do whatever you need to get back on your feet and get back in the game again.
I really love that you said go to nature. I definitely don't do that enough. And I'm seeing you guys post this about nature and you guys out in nature, and I'm jealous. I want to get out there and start doing that.
Remember Earth, and it's got a magnetic field. We also have a magnetic field around us. And they've seen this in physics and in quantum physics. So when we're inside a building, the walls, the metal, the concrete, they block our energetic torus from being with outside. And once you go outside, you feel much better. That's the reason our energy is blocked inside a building. We're not meant to live in buildings. We're meant to live in caves and in teepees.
That must be why when it's kind of good weather, I'm always wanting to be outside. I would love to be able to just work outside, just not inside indoors, just outside.
Or just take frequent breaks and go outside. Breathe the air outside, just be outside. Just seeing green is great for the eye.
I love that. Is there any strategies that you use to prioritize your self-care and your mental well-being?
Yeah, like I said before, you've got to take frequent breaks. I mean, sit no longer than 30 minutes. That's one way you take care of yourself. The other one is do short meditations, exercise. Instead of pushing everything to one time during the weekend, just do short periods of exercise during the day. So make sure you get your exercise in one short series, just a few minutes. Just move your body. Stretch especially is really important. Do the miracle stretch with me. Move your body more, eat healthy, and take care of your body.
I love it. Well, I'm definitely going to listen to you because for you to still be able to do all of that, doing the splits and stuff, I don't even think I could do that at 20.
Yeah, neither could I. I thought last year I did my first split challenge, and
wow, that's cool.
The split and continuing it now.
That's amazing.
It just makes you stronger. When I was in back pain, I could hardly climb the stairs one by one, But now I climb them not 2 by 2. I climb 3 at a time. Comes lighter and lighter.
Wow. I can do it. But you know what? One day I will. For the people that are out there that may be going through having pain and want to find out more about what you do and watch you on social media, do you have a website or social media? Are you on Facebook?
Got a website. It's called healintofreedom.com and a YouTube channel, which is Yaron Mayer. YARONMAYER. Got a Facebook also. And I've got also a school community, which is called Heal into Freedom as well. Healing to Freedom with Qigong, and it's on school and it's free right now. It's not going to be free for long. I've got a couple of exercises there that are amazing that just takes a few minutes and start moving the life force energy. And just those two, the miracle stretch and the wonder exercise, I call them, have healed people. I've put them on YouTube and elsewhere, and people came back and they say, my back pain's gone. They're amazing. They're fantastic. And I just want to give them out there. And then I've got other courses there too, as well, for people to try and to join me on the Tao Path Club, where we practice many different things that are amazing for your health. Because in terms of sport, they're like a brisk walk, but you get to move the whole body. So your range of motion stays like you're young, and it just improves all the time.
The videos in there are so valuable. So they better hurry, because I'm telling you, this is worth a lot more than free. I can tell you that much. Do you have any last thoughts for the audience?
The body has amazing ways of healing. And I say, if you want to stay healthy and live long life, stay away from doctors. Unless, they're great for broken bones and for trauma. But just in general, the only way the doctors treat right now is with pharmaceutical. And it's just not the right way.
Thank you for listening to the Invisible Marketer podcast. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Yaron. If you found value out of this episode, make sure you head on over to invisiblemarketer.com/heal so that you can follow him on his journey as he shows you how to live a pain-free and healthy lifestyle. And as always, keep tuning in to discover even more strategies that are tailored to using your superpower of being an introvert to go out and make an impact. I will see you next time.